Hi, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to be talking about Silver Bay Seafoods and working for salmon 2024 season and beyond. I am assuming that by now, most of you have applied and heard a response or are waiting for a response. If you have not yet applied, you're not late. I encourage you to do so ASAP because Silver Bay has a high turnover rate. What that means is that not everybody is cut out for this type of work. So people end up leaving, people end up quitting, people end up getting fired, or for whatever reason, they have to leave early. And so that leaves room for more people to come and work. I have my list here, so if you see me looking down, I just want to make sure that I am not missing anything. But in this video, I will also be talking about the pay, a list of must-haves before your trip, some do's and don'ts, and your mindset. So let's get into it. There are a lot of job options at Silver Bay. You may initially be applying as a fish processor, but there are other options that you may be able to get into once you do a walkthrough and see the options that they are offering. And some of these options may include working in the kitchen, working in the office, working with maintenance, working on the docks, working in the glove room, and helping with housekeeping. Regardless, these are some of the things that I highly recommend that you bring. And before I get into the list of the must-haves, let me remind you that Alaska is expensive. It's expensive. Everyday things like toiletries, food, medication, clothing is going to be marked up. It's going to be significantly more expensive than the lower 48. That's why it is really in your best interest to bring some of these items before you get to Alaska. Get these items before you get to Alaska. Also, depending on the location that you end up working, you may have little to no options of obtaining these items. And these particular places are going to be False Pass and Naknek. False Pass is in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing out there. And Naknek has very little to offer to the public. So bring your stuff. Without further ado, here is the list. But before I continue, please grab a pen and paper because you're going to need it. Okay, so number one, you want to bring warm clothes. And these are sweatpants, sweatshirts, hoodies, long johns, thermos, tights that you can wear under sweatpants, long sleeves. You want to be able to layer your clothing, okay? It may be summer in Alaska, so obviously bring clothes that you can wear outside when it's nice and warm. But while you're in the plant, it is going to be freezing. Some of us come from warm weather, and there's a huge number of people that work in the processing plants that come from warm weather. Bring your warm clothes, okay? You're gonna need to layer. So bring comfortable clothing, things that you're going to be comfortable wearing for 16 hours a day, minimum. Obviously you have 24 hours in a day, so you're going to be working up to 16-hour days. So just be comfortable and warm. Number two, socks. Bring high quality socks, not just like a bunch of regular socks. I recommend smart wool socks. Those are going to keep your feet warm. If you bring any other types of socks, you can layer those with smart wool. Maybe wear 2 pairs of socks, depending on your need. But for me, I needed to layer because I was always cold, and I'm always cold. Number 3, bring foot warmers. Do I have anything as an example? You can buy those little warmers. If you just go to a store and you ask for foot warmers or hand warmers, you can either get those in glove form or you can get them in packets where you shake them and they slowly get warm and keep your feet warm or your fingers warm. Number 4, you are going to need rubber type shoes, and I highly recommend XtraTufs. Even if it's not the insulated type of XtraTufs, just regular XtraTufs are going to be sufficient. You can layer those with socks as well, so that will help keep you warm, but it's going to keep your feet dry. You cannot be in the processing plant in sneakers. It's just not going to work. That place stays wet and has a bunch of water in it. I'm not talking just like a little bit of water on the floor. I'm talking like water, because there's always fish cleaning and fish coming in and ice, and it's just a mess in there. So you're going to need rubber shoes. I highly recommend XtraTufs, by the way. They're not cheap, so they will be an investment. Number 5, gloves. Now, with gloves, false pass is going to be cold, I think. I mean, even in the summer, Alaska, if it decides to be moody, it gets cold. So you always want to stay ready for change of weather. So you can bring regular hand warming gloves, but when you're working in the plant, what I recommend and what I found helpful was those kind of cheap black gloves. They're just kind of sewn black gloves. You can put those on before you put on, say, latex gloves, and then put on your like working gloves, because you get these orange rubber gloves that you have to wear in order, obviously, to protect your hands, but underneath that you want to feel and be insulated. So I recommend just little cheap black gloves that are going to add a layer of insulation for you. Number 6, bring lots of underwear. Number 7, you're going to need head warmers. So things that are going to keep your ears warm, your head warm, and that's going to be beanies and hats, or again, head warmers. Number 8, toiletries. All of them, bring them. This is toothpaste. Bring 2 tubes. Bring 2 toothbrushes, just in case something happens to one of those toothbrushes and you don't have to worry about having to buy another. And if you're a flossy like me, bring floss. Bring a bunch of floss if you need to. Bring body wash, not body soap. Like, not a bar of soap, just wash, okay? Bring body wash. Bring shampoo and conditioner. Bring a couple face cloths. Bring 2 to 3 bath towels. Bring your deodorant. Bring lotion. With lotion, if you're coming from warm weather, your skin is going to react to the different weather and the environment that you're going to be in. I highly recommend thick lotions like Eucerin or shea butter. Like, I'm talking like Ghanaian, like West African shea butter, okay? And also Vaseline. Vaseline is gonna help protect you, especially your hands and your feet. It's just going to kind of help seal in the skin and seal in the moisture so that you're not cracking. And also it's good for when you have minor cuts and maybe a burn or bites, insects, whatever it may be. Those are my recommendations. Eucerin, the thick type lotion. Shea butter, 100% shea butter. Like the yellow thick stuff that hardens when it cools. And Vaseline. And also I recommend that you bring a shower caddy so you can put all your toiletries or your bath needs in there. Shower caps for those people that need to use shower caps. I recommend that. And lastly, with the toiletries, I highly recommend shower shoes. You are going to be using public facilities and you just want to make sure that you protect your skin and your feet. So, shower shoes. Okay, so moving on to number 10, pain meds. You are going to need some pain medication. You may have a headache, you may have aches and pains. So I recommend things like Tylenol, Advil, Aleve, whatever it is that you normally take. Cold medicine, you will get sick. You're going to be around people from all over the place and also from different countries. So the chances of getting sick are very high. So in order to protect yourself, or at least to help yourself, please bring cold medication. I highly recommend something like a Theraflu. For me, it works the quickest and the fastest because you can drink it in a warm liquid and it's also soothing. So Theraflu is my personal go-to. So do whatever it is that you do that helps you the best and the most. Number 12, vitamins. So this is Emergen-C or anything that helps boost your immune system. I recommend Emergen-C and any tinctures that you may use. Maybe you use, oregano tinctures or things that help you rest and sleep well, like, what is that? Lemon balm tincture. Whatever it is that you do that works for you is what you should bring. Number 13, muscle pain ointments. You're gonna get muscle aches because of the nature of the job. So please remember, maybe it's Tiger Balm that you need to use. Maybe you use something else. Whatever it is, just bring it. I also recommend number 14, Cortisone 10 for cuts and bites or any itching that you may experience. And also, I really highly recommend that you bring a bottle of witch hazel and a small bottle of tea tree oil. If you would like details about why I'm recommending that, please leave that question in the comments and I will answer it. But this will help you with ear infections. Why do I say that? You're going to be around fish and you're going to be given these tiny little ear plugs because there's a lot of noise in a fish processing plant. A lot of noise. It's super noisy. And fair warning, if you can't deal with noise, it's going to be very challenging. But anyways, that is supposed to help protect your ears from the noise. But then you're dealing with fish and you're touching your ears, trying to make sure that earplug is okay. It's easy to get an ear infection. And if you do, antibiotics don't work fast enough for me. But a concoction of tea tree oil and witch hazel and water helped me tremendously. So again, if you're interested in that information, let me know in the comments. Let's see. Number 16, bring a small personal first aid kit. Silver Bay has provisions for first aid. So if you need a Band-Aid, you need something that is first aid related, they're going to help you with that. But if you just want to have something that you can grab for yourself while you're in your room and you don't need to leave, just bring yourself one of those small first aid kits that has Band-Aids and ointments and things like that. And to that first aid kit, add super glue. Okay. Number 17, bring your favorite snacks. Bring a lot of them. Again, remember, Alaska is expensive. You don't want to rely on the stores in Alaska to buy this. And you also don't want to rely on Amazon because it takes a minimum of 2 weeks to get anything from Amazon out here. And I'm talking even just as a resident. So imagine if you're in some remote place, it takes a while. So bring your snacks. And for those really health conscious people, bring healthy snacks and bring lots of them. Number 18, instant coffee. Silver Bay is going to provide you with coffee, but it may not be your cup of tea. So if there's a personal coffee that you like, something instant and quick that you can make yourself, bring instant coffee. And creamer if you must. I would assume you would bring like a powdered creamer because you're not going to have a fridge in your room. Unless you have a fridge in your room. You're not going to have a fridge in your room. Number 19, caffeine pills. For those people that require that kind of pick-me-up or that feel like maybe they're going to need it, you are going to need a pick-me-up, by the way. This is going to be brutal. It's going to be exhausting. So if you're not getting enough rest, bring your caffeine pills. Okay? Number 20, ladies, you're going to thank me later for this one. Bring a robe. Bring a nice, comfortable, warm robe. One that you can wear in your room and around the bunkhouse. It's going to save you a lot of heartache, and it's going to be a quick fix to just being able to jump out of your bed or your room and go use the restroom or whatever it is that you need to do without having to put on an entire set of clothing. Okay? Bring a robe. Okay, fine. It doesn't have to be the nicest robe, but it just needs to be warm and comfortable. Number 21, bring comfy lounge shoes so that you can have a chance to just let your feet breathe and not have to be cooped up in some shoes. Because again, you're going to be spending a lot of time in those rubber shoes. Number 22, bring a pair of sneakers. Maybe you want to move around town. Maybe you want to go for a hike. Bring sneakers. Number 22, water bottle. You're going to want to have some water somewhere in your room, something that you can use to store water in your room. So do bring that. Number 23, I highly emphasize bringing non-Wi-Fi entertainment. Most of these places are not going to be offering you top-notch Wi-Fi. Even if there's some Wi-Fi at the bunkhouses, it's not going to be that great. You're going to be competing with a lot of people for some Wi-Fi. And chances are it's going to be difficult to get much service. So bring your books, download your music, bring your headphones to listen to your music. Bring puzzles, bring your journals, whatever it is that you will need to stay entertained that does not require you to have Wi-Fi. Do that. Download your movies if you need to. Maybe you have an iPad, bring that. I did mention headphones, so I guess that's number 24, headphones. So don't forget to bring your headphones. Maybe bring 2 just in case you lose one. Number 25, don't forget your charger. Bring an extra charger if you have to. And 26, I highly recommend that you bring 1 to 2 dark cloths. These cloths can be as big as a sheet. This is going to help you create a bit of boundary and privacy in the bunkhouse. Because again, the bunkhouses can have up to 5 people in the same small room. So if you're using a bunk, you want to be able to create some sort of privacy on your bunk. So 1 to 2 cloths as big as a sheet is going to offer that privacy. Lastly, bring your creature comforts. Bring something that makes you feel like you're home, because that's going to be your home for a few months. I don't care whether it's a teddy bear or I don't know, whatever it is that you need to feel comfortable and comforted, bring that. All right, we're moving on to our do's and don'ts. Let's start with the do's. Number 1, do have an open mind. Do have an open mind. There's going to be a lot of people from different backgrounds, different experiences, lots of diversity. These people are going to have different reasons for being there. Not everybody is going to be there for the same reason. Don't be illusioned to the fact that because someone is in a fish processing plant that you're all there for the same reason and you all come from the same background. You're going to be around different people. You're going to have everybody from convicts to PhD students and everything in between. So have an open mind, okay? Do not assume that you have people figured out, okay? So keep that in mind. Number 2, be yourself. Don't try to be anything that you're not. It's not going to last. You can't pretend when you're at the fish plant. If you pretend, you're just going to burn out, because honestly, there's just no room to be anything other than yourself in an environment like that. You're not going to have the energy to keep up with facades. You just need to be yourself and be who you are. No need to prove to be something that you are not. Okay, number 3, do stretch. Do self-care for your health, for your functionality, and for your longevity every single day. I mean, people have leg cramps, back cramps, arm cramps. This job is relentless. You're going to be standing in the same position for hours on end. And if you don't take the time to self-care and stretch out your muscles, you're going to suffer. So stretch. Minimum once a day before going to bed. Stretch after you take your bath, after your shift ends. In between your shifts, your breaks, stretch as much as you can. But do not stretch. Okay? All right. That was my emphasis. Number 4, mind your business. If it doesn't have anything to do with you, leave it alone. If it does not have anything to do with you, leave it alone. You don't need to meddle in other people's businesses. Mind your business. Take a walk. Go into the wilderness. I don't know. Do something else. Just, there's no need to be in people's shit. Number 5, stand up for yourself. People are going to test you. People are going to push your buttons. That's just the nature of being in an environment with different types of people. Stand up for yourself. Don't let anybody bully you. Don't let it slide. Do it the first time it happens. Stand up for yourself. Don't take anybody's nonsense. Number 6, show up to work 15 minutes early. You get penalized if you're a minute late. It's just better to get there early. Just make sure you're on time, and you're on time if you're a little early. So just make it a habit to try to be at work 15 minutes early. Okay? Stay alert, especially when you're in the plant. Don't be on your phone just looking down. There's so many bad things that happen in fish processing plants, accidents and stuff, people losing their limbs, people losing their lives just because of negligence. Don't be that person, okay? Just stay alert, both feet on the ground. Just look around you. There's going to be forklifts just careening around the corner, and it's not up to the other person to consider you. Just take care of yourself, worry about yourself. And so just stay alert. Where are we at? All right, we've moved on to the don'ts. Number 1, don't be a prick. There's no reason for it. There's no room for it. Nobody has any energy for it. And the people that have energy for it, you don't want to be lumped in with those people. Don't be a prick. Don't bring your toxic traits. Leave that stuff where you're coming from and come in with some positive intentions. Okay? Number 2, don't hate. Don't hate. Don't project your insecurities and your bad habits and your jealousy on people. Nobody has time for that. And if they do, you're lumped in right there with those people. Don't be that person. Number 3, Don't spend all your money on crap. You are going to make money. I think that's your intention, right? You want to go and make some money. Don't spend it on things that you don't need to spend it on. Don't do it. Number 4, don't party too much. I'm not saying don't have a good time, but have some boundaries, have some limits. Don't let peer pressure get you. There's going to be a lot of bad habits going on. And there's going to be a lot of peer pressure, but it's up to you to have that self-control and say no. Remind yourself why you're there. Okay? Number 5. This may be the last, but it's not the least. Don't start shit. Don't start stuff. Don't gossip for no reason, just to start stuff. Are you bored? Go read a book. Go run. Go into the wilderness. I don't know. But don't be the gossip queen. Don't start stuff. Leave those habits behind. Okay, so moving on to the pay. The pay is $17.50 an hour for new hires and depending on experience. Overtime for new hires is going to be $25.73 an hour. Okay? The work is heavily reliant on the availability of fish. Some days you may end up working 5 hours. Other days maybe 10 hours, and other days maybe 16-hour days. Usually by the middle of July, you really start getting into those longer hours, 10 plus hours a day. You really do. And when you start getting into the peak time, okay, where you are working for 30 days straight, no breaks, 16-hour days, you're going to be working 100 hours a week. I worked in 2017 for salmon season, and I think it was the second record year, the second highest record year. I think the highest record year was 2016. So 2017 was the second highest record year. So we were working, guys, like 30 days straight, no breaks, no days off, 16 hours. Now imagine you're working that hard and you're not sleeping, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not hydrating, you're not stretching, you're partying. Like, how are you expected to last in that condition? You can't, right? So take heed, take care of yourself. The kitchen works all the time. Whether there is fish or there is no fish, the kitchen crew still has to work. So that's like a good steady job right there, working in the kitchen. Also, you stay clean. You stay clean. So there's just a little tip there for you. And also, if you're interested in making a little extra money when the season ends, volunteer yourself to do cleanup. You may stay for an extra 3 weeks or so. You have probably the bunk to yourself, and you get a chance to get to explore your environment and maybe even explore the options for you after Silver Bay in Alaska during that time, because you have the downtime to do so. So keep that in mind. All right. I'm getting to the end of this video, and lastly, I would like to touch a little bit on mindset. I know that we all have different reasons for wanting to go to Alaska and work in a fish processing plant, to be exact. And for me, I had always wanted to come to Alaska because why not? It's beautiful. And a coworker of mine at the time told me about this opportunity that she had run into, and she was interested. And she told me that she wanted to pay off some debts, student loans, stuff like that. And she thought it would be a great idea and a great adventure to check out Alaska this way. Plus, the opportunity was offering to cover expenses and housing and food and all that stuff. So my friend says, you should come with me. And I said, absolutely. I did not hesitate. I have always wanted to visit Alaska, and at the time I was a full-time student of sustainability, and I decided to take a year off of school. And also, it was an opportunity for me to do my own personal research in the fishing industry and see just how sustainable or unsustainable that actually is. And it ended up paying off for me personally, but also the experience was unbelievable. Not just working at the processing plant, but pushing myself to the limits that I did and having the opportunity to explore this beautiful land and now living here. So I knew why I was coming to Alaska. I prepared myself emotionally, mentally, for the work based on what information we were given during the hiring process and all that before I even flew to Alaska. I did not have a lot of details about the do's and don'ts and the must-haves and stuff like that. That is stuff that I ended up learning over time while I was there. But also working in Sitka, I had the ability to be able to get some of the stuff that I needed because of what we had available in the city. But otherwise, with the mindset, I really prepared myself for that before my departure. I knew why I was coming to work. And I told myself that when things get hard, I have to remind myself why I came here. It wasn't only for the job, but it was also for the opportunity and experience and the chance to get to experience the last frontier. And so when the days got hard and when the people frustrated me and when I was getting to my breaking point or getting to a point where I was ready to walk out of there, I had to remind myself why I was there. And I urge you to do the same for yourself. Sit down with yourself and actually ask yourself why you want to go to Alaska and how you're going to mitigate those roadblocks and those challenging times that you're going to face, because there are going to be challenging times. That's a guarantee. You're gonna have some really tough times, and that is when you really need to remind yourself why you're there. And that's why it is important to surround yourself with people that are going to be empowering you in that environment, people that are going to be inspiring you in that environment. You don't want to be around the naysayers in an environment like that. You don't want to be around the negative people in an environment like that. You need people that are going to uplift you and support you and just be there for you. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I have put on the list or anything outside of the list, please leave that in the comments below. I am also going to include the website for you to apply. It's just going to be silverbayseafoods.com. I think it's .com. But I'm going to leave it in the description as well, so you check that out. I do have a couple other videos on Silver Bay, but they're not even close to being in depth like this. I've pretty much covered all the things that I talked about in those short videos in this particular video. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like, share it with anybody that you think would find it useful, and subscribe to stay in the loop for the next video. Thank you.